Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I want to thank Chairwoman Biggert for her hard work on this bill, and the ranking member, Mr. Gutierrez, and the gentlelady from California who is very overseer of this program. This amendment is a forward-thinking amendment to put the flood insurance program on sound footing. Consider this amendment the National Flood Insurance Emergency Fund. Currently, premiums come in, payments go out, but nothing is reserved for the events that no one can predict. Claims are paid with existing premiums, and everyone crosses their fingers that nothing really bad happens. If incoming premiums are not enough, the National Flood Insurance Program has no other option than to ask for a bailout. In fact, the NFIP program has carried debt in 18 of the past 30 years. Most interesting of all is that not all of these years saw catastrophic flooding. FEMA just didn't do a good job managing premiums and claims. It's clear that in good years and in bad, the flood insurance program does not have a good grasp on how much they will pay out in claims. However, when catastrophic flood does happen, NFIP program is even less prepared for the claims. 2005 was one of those years that nobody could predict. Hurricanes Katrina, Rita, and Wilma together caused $17 billion in losses for the National Flood Insurance Program. 6 years later, including principal and interest, the NFIP debt is now $18 billion. Every year it seems like flooding impacts a wide swath of the United States, and 2011 has been no different. No one can predict the weather. What NFIP needs is the ability to save up to help smooth out those unpredictable years. If the program could stash money away in good times, it would have money to pay for the years when the estimates were incorrect. My amendment does just that. It establishes a reserve fund in the NFIP program. This is just common sense. So much so, NFIP is one of the few federal funds that does not have a reserve fund. FHA has a 2% reserve requirement. The FDIC Deposit Insurance Fund is required to have a 1.35% reserve ratio. Now I want to take a moment to address some of the possible concerns with the amendment. First, this amendment does not expand the NFIP to other catastrophic events like earthquakes or tornadoes. This fund and the bill remain specific to flooding. Second, the administrator gets funds from the existing premiums. The administrator and the amendment are bound to adhere to the parameters established in the underlying bill, premiums, raises, and annual increases. Third, this amendment does not take away from debt repayment. Any premium collected would be spent to cover losses because the program is running of the deficit. This takes precedent. At some point in the future, the program might be able to collect enough to cover all costs and to set aside a reserve. But given the magnitude of the current debt, this is not likely to occur in the short term. Finally, this amendment does not stand in the way of reinsurance opportunities for the flood program. I support reinsurance for the flood program and firmly believe that both reinsurance and a reserve fund can coexist. In fact, many private insurers reserve for losses and purchase reinsurance. Private insurers will use reserve funds as a deductible for reinsurance coverage. However, I fundamentally believe that as long as taxpayers are involved at the ultimate backstop, this program needs a reserve. It is not responsible to tell taxpayers no more bailouts, but offer no solution to the ongoing bailout of NFIP. If there is no reserve fund, there will be more bailouts. It is just a matter of when. So adopting this amendment would address a fundamental deficiency in the program that is right for bailouts. I urge adoption of the amendment, and with that, I reserve the balance of my time.